Okay, so good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Am I audible to you? Okay, so good evening, everyone. Okay, so since it is my first class and in the previous class, which was a demo, I told you that I will be present here to discuss the current topics under science and technology. So today we will see some two or three topics regarding currents and which are concerned with the science and technology topic, right? So we will see what speciality of these topics, why these topics are important, and what could be asked in the form of question from these topics, right? So we will see one by one all the topics. It is a session of about 1 hour, so I will try that more than two or three topics I will discuss. Okay. So there are some people here on the panel: Varsha, Sarvesh, Dheeraj, Vaishnavi, Anup, Mohit. Okay, good evening, everyone. So today's first topic is LTTD. Though it is an old topic, but recently this topic is in news. And why it is in news? So basically, the government of India, particularly the Ministry of Earth Sciences, approved the establishment of 6 plants of desalination of water, desalination of seawater in different islands of on the different islands of Lakshadweep, right? LTTD. Have you heard about this topic? Anyone? Have you heard about this topic? All those who are on panel who are watching, so I expect that if you don't know, obviously answer there. If you know, then answer there. So actually I like to make this conversation two-way, not only one-way conversation, so that would be beneficial for us. Got it? What is this LTTD? First of all, I would like to tell you about the full form of this. It is low temperature thermal desalination. Thermal desalination. Okay. If we talk about this desalination, desalination means when water is saline, so we have to remove salt from the water. This is the process called desalination. Got it? So basically, this desalination process is used. Desalination of what? Desalination of water is used to convert seawater into potable water. Okay? Desalination of water is used to convert seawater or saline water into potable water. Potable water means the water which is used for the purpose of drinking, right? So when we move in such areas where seawater is found in abundance, where water is in abundance but not in the form of potable water, so there is need to supply potable water in those regions, which is more and more expensive. So to remove such kind of expenses, government decided to desaline the water, desaline the seawater in the form of potable water by establishing some kind of plant there, and that plant actually uses a kind of you can say a kind of process in which low temperature thermal desalination process is used. Okay, why this process has been termed as low temperature thermal desalination? First of all, we should know this thing, and how in this process the seawater get converted into potable water. We will see both the things. Okay, first of all, as you know about the seawater, so one should know that at the sea level and deep below the sea level, the temperature of water are different. Okay, at the surface, if you say the temperature of water is about 35 degrees Celsius, so this temperature is about 10 degrees Celsius at this depth. Say it is the depth of about 1000 feet or 2000 feet, right? So at this depth, the temperature is very much less. Why it is significant to us? Why we are taking such kind of temperature and why we are discussing such thing? So actually, when in this process, that means in LTTD, we use this desalination process. So what happens here? First of all, we use the surface water, which can be easily taken from there, right? So when we use surface water at a certain temperature, okay, so first of all, this surface water would be evaporated. Okay, it would be evaporated, but the evaporation takes place at very low temperature. Now you can say how it will be possible that surface water can be evaporated at low temperature, because the boiling point of the water is 100 degrees Celsius. So why, how it is possible that at low temperature water get evaporated? Can you imagine? Can you guess that how water can be evaporated at low temperature? Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess how water can be evaporated at low temperature? So to know this, okay, if you don't know the answer, I will explain. Here you should know that the boiling point of water is what? Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. If we say that a person goes to the top of a hill, there he found that now the temperature is water is boiling at a temperature of 55 degrees Celsius. What happens here? That the water which was boiling at 100 degrees Celsius at the plane is now boiling at 55 degrees Celsius only. What happens here? Can anyone say what happens here? See, I'm waiting for the answer. Actually, it is very basic thing. It is a very basic thing regarding the boiling point and melting point. You have heard about these terms in class 9th or 10th. So I expect that you should know these things. What is boiling point? what is melting point, and how it get changed, what factors are responsible for their change? Can anyone answer? On the panel here is Anup Punya, Ravi Kumar, Dheeraj, Sarvesh, Vikram Veer, Varsha, Vaishnavi. Okay, let's see. The boiling point of water at the plane, that means at 1 atmospheric pressure, which is called as 180 m, है ना? 180 m, 1 atmospheric pressure. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. As we go at the top of the hill, first of all, we should know that at this height, the air pressure get decreased. Got it? Air pressure get decreased. There is a direct relationship between air pressure, and boiling point of water. Okay. What I told you, that there is a direct relationship between air pressure and boiling point of water. Okay. Boiling point of water. So, as the air pressure decreases, the boiling point of water decreases. Okay. With the decrease in air pressure, the boiling point of water get decreased. Got it? So, the water which should boil at 100 degrees Celsius, what we have seen at the plains, so now the water starts boiling at 55 degrees Celsius. How it be possible at that height? Because now at that height the air pressure get decreased. Okay, and since it is directly related to the boiling point, now the water starts boiling at lower temperature. Okay, in this way we have heard that when a people who goes to the hill and say he wants to enjoy his picnic, and now he is basically making or preparing some food, but he has to wait for a little more time uh, in cooking the food. Why? Because he sees that the water is boiling, but the substance which is put into the water, so it is not properly cooked. Why? Because it needs certain more temperature or certain more time to be cooked. Okay, so in that way you can say that this air pressure and boiling point is related to each other, and in this way the same process is used in that low temperature thermal desalination process. So, for the boiling of water, for the vaporization of water, okay, boiling of water is needed. That means when water boils, so it basically produces water vapor. Okay, and when water vapor is produced from the water, obviously it would be, it is not taking the different substances which are dissolved in the water, and water comes in the pure form, in the form of water vapor. Okay, so what happens here you can see easily and you can understand easily. Okay, when water is taken in a pot or in a, you can say, in a vessel, and this vessel is a kind of vessel which can be vacuumized. Okay, that means certain vacuum condition is basically put there. So since it is vacuumized and it is operationalized from outside, so actually the person who is using this vessel is basically lowering the air pressure inside the vessel. How? To make this vessel vacuumized. Okay. So when vacuum is created there, that means it is basically neutralized from the outer pressure. It is neutralized from the outer pressure. Water is put there. This is the saline water of sea, and due to lowering of air pressure, the temperature of water, which is say 30 degrees Celsius. So now at 30 degrees Celsius, the water starts boiling. When water starts boiling, so it makes certain water vapor. This water vapor is collected in another vessel. How it is collected? By the use of this pipe. So it is collected in this another vessel, and there, due to cooling of this water vapor, pure water get collected in this vessel. Okay. Now one more thing you should know here in the process of desalination, how it is possible. So when water vapor get collected into this vessel, its cooling is needed. So for the cooling of this water vapor, it is needed that one coolant should be given there. Okay, one coolant should be given there. Now, what is that coolant with the use of which water vapor get cooled and it is converted into pure water? Okay, here in this vessel we have saline water. In the another vessel we have pure water, right? Here saline water, here pure water. So how it is possible that saline water get converted into pure water? Saline water get converted into pure water by the use of what? By the cooling of water vapor. That water vapor which is produced here by the boiling of this saline water. Okay. So for the cooling of this water vapor, one should use again the saline water of sea. Here a question could be asked from you that how this saline water helps in cooling of this water vapor. So for the cooling of this water vapor, obviously the temperature should be low. If I am saying that the saline water or the sea water, which is again taken here, it is again sea water, and this sea water is now used as a coolant. So how this sea water is used as coolant? How this coolant works? So obviously, since it is a coolant, it has a lower temperature, and this lower temperature comes from where? This lower temperature comes from this side. That means the water which is taken as a coolant, is taken from what? Is taken from where? It is taken from the deep inside the sea. That means about 1000 feet to 2000 feet deeper water is taken, which has a temperature much lower than the temperature of the surface water. As I am saying that if the temperature of the surface water here is 35 degrees Celsius, obviously its temperature is much lower here at the depth of 1000 feet or 2000 feet, okay, from the surface of the sea, right? So when such water is taken, so this water act as a coolant here, and due to use of this coolant, water vapor get cooled, condenses here and converted into water droplets. That water droplets are collected here in this vessel in the form of pure water. So with this process, you can say no extra energy is needed. This is the process where uh, no substance is used for the cleaning of water, no extra chemicals are used, and it is very easy process for the desalination of water. Got it? So that's why it could be asked to you that which department is basically involved in this process, what could be the benefits of such kind of processes, and in the prelims it could be asked that why this process should be used, particularly in the areas where you can say the areas are coastal areas and where the people are not so much affluent that actually uh, uh, they actually use the potable water by expending their money. Okay, so in this process you can easily see that this LTTD process, that means low temperature thermal desalination process, this process is actually used, or this process is initiated by National Institute of Ocean Technology. Okay, I'm writing all these things on a new page. Okay, so here you should know there is an institute named as National Institute of Ocean Technology. It is an autonomous institute. It is an autonomous institute that is working under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. The Ministry of Earth Sciences, right? So one could be asked this question in prelims that Ministry of the National Institute of Ocean Technology is working under which ministry? Okay, it is a very you can say easy question, but it could be given in the form of statements where 2 or 3 statements are given in the question. So one of the statement could be this, that the National Institute of Ocean Technology is working under which? Under this ministry. Okay, one should also know that this institute is working for the harvesting of non-living and living things from the oceans, and that is why it is very important to know that this Institute of Ocean Technology is not only working to harvest the non-living and living things from the ocean water or sea water, but it is also working in certain kind of research works, and this is the result of such kind of research work through which now the people residing in the coastal areas are getting benefit of such kind of processes of desalination of water, through which now they are able to use potable water on their expense in the with their easy money, right? So this National Institute of Ocean Technology is important here. Secondly, what is the name of the technology? The name of the technology is LTTD, that means low temperature. As I told you earlier, it is low temperature thermal desalination. Thermal desalination. Okay, what is the important process which is used here? So the important process which is used here is the making of water vapor or producing water vapor, you can write here. Okay. Producing water vapor at a very low temperature by lowering the air pressure. Okay. And as I told you that how water starts boiling at low temperature, because when its pressure get decreased, so at low pressure its boiling point also get decreased, and that's why it starts boiling at low temperature. Okay, this is the crux of this theory, crux of this process. So it could be given in the statements that how this process works. So the answer of this question could be given in the statement, and you should know that how it could be possible. Okay. Now, producing water vapor at very low temperature by lowering the air pressure. Okay. When water vapor when water vapor is produced when water vapor is produced, it is collected in a vessel for its condensation by its cooling. Right? Cooling of water vapor always takes place in its condensation. So due to condensation of water vapor, pure water get collected into a new vessel. Okay. For the cooling of water, again, sea water of deep oceanic region is used because its temperature is much lower than that of the of the surface temperature. Got it? So this is the basic thing. Okay. Since it is discussed or it is in the news recently, so obviously you should know that how this process works, what is the impact of lowering of air pressure on boiling point, and how there is a difference between the difference in the temperature of sea surface water and the water from the deeper oceanic region. Okay, so these are the basic things which you should know, and I hope that you actually Got the basic things. Got it? Okay. Got it? Okay. Second thing or second topic is again related to this ocean technology. And this is the topic which is again in the news. And it is also a kind of thing which is produced here or which is innovated here by the National Institute of Ocean Technology. This is what, first of all, I would like to write the name of that topic. It is Roshni. What is Roshni? Okay, you could be asked that what is Roshni. So you should know here that Roshni is basically an LED lantern that is powered by the use of saline water, okay, or sea water, you can say. Okay, so it is again beneficial for those people who are residing in the coastal areas, and it is an uh, alternative of light which is used by the people who are residing in the coastal area at a very low cost. Okay, and here one should know that since it is using saline water to gain power, okay, so it is again an environment friendly innovation. So such kind of question could be asked when it is asked in the examination. So obviously one can say that this question is concerned with the environment and ecology part, or one can say that this question is concerned with the science and technology part. Again, one can say that this question is concerned with the geography part because ocean is concerned here. So I think that whatever one can think that from where this question is asked, you should know that how this lantern works, what is this Roshni, which institute is involved here, and how this lantern works. Okay, what is the benefit of use of this lantern. So you should know all these things. First of all, Roshni, as I told you, that it is an LED lantern. So how this LED lantern works and what is the basic thing here. As you have seen in a Leclanche shell or the battery which is used in the automobile vehicles and other kind of things, the batteries which are used in inverter. So there you have seen that certain kind of chemical or acid is basically poured in that battery, and the battery is using two electrodes, and when the battery is charged, or you can say the liquid inside the battery is charged, so current passes through those electrodes, and we get current outside by using wire. Okay, so in this process or in this lantern, you can say same technology is used, but it is the condition where the electrodes are very much important here, and these electrodes are basically working by the use of this saline water only. It is not using any kind of acid, it is not using any kind of fuel. Okay, it is only using the saline water. So what is happening here, you can see in this lantern which is named as Roshni, a vessel is used, and this vessel is filled with saline water. Got it? This vessel is filled with saline water, Since salt is here, so obviously by the reaction of this salt with certain kind of you can say metal, it is producing current here. Okay, so two types of electrodes are used here. Two types of electrodes. One of the electrode is one of the electrode is of is it is made up of iron. Okay, an iron electrode is used here. An iron electrode is used here, and then a magnesium electrode is used here. A magnesium electrode is used here. Okay, when these two electrodes are dipped into the saline water, this magnesium electrode starts reacting with the saline water. Okay, it starts reacting with the saline water, and when it starts reacting, a kind of current start flowing through this water, and when both the electrodes are joined by, say, joined by the wire, okay, and when this wire get connected with a bulb, as we put here, okay, so sorry, okay, so when both the wires are joined here, the bulb starts glowing, this bulb starts glowing, and this is how this saline water become useful to glow a bulb in the form of a lantern. Okay, again you should know that this is a very simple process where two electrodes, okay, the question could be asked about the electrodes which are used here. So it is a kind of magnesium electrode, magnesium electrode, okay, and this is the iron electrode which is used here. Okay, so what metal is used to make electrode in this lantern? You should know here, electrode. Got it? Magnesium electrode and iron electrode, these two electrodes are used. Again, the basic thing is what? Who innovated or invented this lantern? So again, it is the National Institute of Institute of Institute of Ocean Technology, Ocean Technology innovated this lantern, okay, that is using saline water. Okay, one can ask that only this lantern is using only the seawater. No, it is not true. When if you want to make such kind of lantern in your home, in your house, and you are not residing in the oceanic area or coastal area, so you can easily make this lantern by using the salt into the water, the common salt which is found in your household. So obviously you can actually dissolve a cupful of salt into the water, and then you should make, okay, the carefulness is what, that you should use the two electrodes made up of iron and made up of magnesium. When you use this kind of thing, obviously you can see that when you dipped both the electrodes into the saline water, it easily produces current by the reaction of magnesium with the salty water or saline water, and with this reaction current starts flowing through this water, and this current comes from this wire. If you join a bulb or any kind of glowing equipment with this wire, obviously the bulb starts glowing here, and this produces much light with the use of saline water. Okay, now since you see here that saline water is used instead of any kind of fuel, obviously this technology is first of all environment friendly. Sorry. Secondly, you should know, since it is not using any kind of fuel, it becomes cost effective. It becomes cost effective. Okay. And again, it is beneficial not for the people, not for the people residing in the coastal areas, but also those living in other areas. Living in other areas. But one constant is there. What is that constant? Because since it is just an innovation, government is looking forward for its mass production, and government is looking that a cost effective mass production should be done. That is why this innovation it will take some time for its mass production, and when government find it that it becomes cost effective and it is useful for the people, so obviously government will produce it, and the people who are residing anywhere in the country can use this lantern and at a very cost effective measure, right? So these two things are very important topic of current here relating to science and technology. One topic or two topic you can say are also related here, but those topics are related not related to such kind of process which is related to physics. Those two topics are related to particularly the topics of biology. Okay, and actually I am talking about the two topics. One is what? One is tomato flu, and another is what? Another is Langley fever. Okay, these two diseases are in news in the recent past. I think some 2 or 3 days before, in the paper of the Hindu, this tomato flu and this Langley fever were discussed. So first of all, you should know that these two kinds of diseases are viral diseases. Okay, these are viral diseases. Okay, but The very good thing is what? These are not fatal or these are not life threatening. Tomato flu is a kind of flu which is caused by a kind of virus which comes under the category of enterovirus. Okay, it is caused by what? It is caused by enterovirus. Enterovirus. Okay, enterovirus are basically a group or you can say a genus of virus which are basically made up of single stranded DNA. Okay, so you should know here that the tomato flu, it is caused by a kind of enterovirus. It is caused by a kind of enterovirus, and for enterovirus you should know, since there are different kind of viruses, some of the viruses are using RNAs as their genetic material, some of the viruses are using DNA as their genetic material, and in RNA you can see that single stranded RNA and double stranded RNA are used in some viruses. So here in this enterovirus, in the group, in the all species of all viruses of the species of enterovirus, this single stranded DNA serves as genetic material, and this makes it important. Okay, enterovirus, in the category of enterovirus you can say some viruses which have been named as Coxsackie virus, Coxsackie A16 virus, or A6 virus is there also. One of the viruses called Coxsackie A61 virus. Okay, these are the viruses which are responsible for causing tomato flu, and this tomato flu is basically found in the children who are basically in the age group of less than 5 years. In the age group of less than 5 years, the common symptoms of this tomato flu is very much similar to those very much similar to two kinds of diseases. One of the diseases is basically chikungunya, in which you have heard about the complaint of you can say high fever, severe joint pain, and you have also heard about you can say nausea. Okay, since a child who is in the age group of less than 5 years, when suffering with this tomato flu, so obviously he could show certain kind of symptoms, since these symptoms, particularly the severe joint pain, is very dreadful. The child is not in the EG manner, but here one thing which is heard good for this disease is what? That is, this disease, this tomato flu, is not a life-threatening disease. Not a life-threatening disease. It can be easily treated. It can be easily treated, right? And this disease has also some of the symptoms which is similar to dengue. Okay, which is similar to dengue. That means high fever is again there, headache is there, nausea is there, and a little less count of platelets could be the symptom when this flu is in its severe condition, right? But again, I would like to tell you that it is not a life-threatening disease. it can be properly treated by the use of certain medicines, right? Again, the second disease is Langley fever. Langley fever is basically a kind of zoonotic disease, right? So if you have heard about the COVID-19 disease, right? COVID-19 disease, it was also called that COVID-19 disease was also a kind of zoonotic disease. Zoonotic diseases are uh, diseases of such category where the disease is communicated from a vertebrate to the human or from the human to the vertebrate. Okay, it is not a one way process, it is a two-way process. That means the disease is caused by a vertebrate to the human, and human also infect a vertebrate in the same manner. Okay, so it is called zoonotic disease. Langley fever is also a kind of zoonotic disease, and as it was in the news that the COVID-19 disease comes from China, in the same way, it is again said that this disease, that means the Langley fever, it also comes from the region of China, particularly a small city where the first case was found. So, due to that, the disease is named after the name of that city, that is Langley, in the southern part of China. Okay, so I would like to tell you only two things here. When you heard about a kind of disease, or when you see that a kind of disease is discussed in the newspaper, it is in the current, okay, it is in the current topics, among the current topic. So there you should be focused on that what kind of disease it is, what you should mark there. Okay, if a disease is if a disease is given in the news article, what you should do? Okay, so you should do, first of all, you should remember the first of all remember the name, remember what kind of disease it is, what kind of disease, what kind of disease means, is it a viral disease, or it is a bacterial disease, or it is a parasitic disease, right? So the kind of disease is very important there again. So what kind of disease it is? If it is viral, if it is a viral disease, so which group of virus is causing that disease? Got it? Okay, again you should know that what kind of DNA or RNA, what kind of genetic material, what kind of genetic material is found in that virus. Okay, I mean to say that, is it the single stranded RNA or double stranded RNA, or single stranded DNA? So what kind of genetic material is found there? So it could be given in the statement like question. Okay, then you could be asked that what is its level of threatening? level of threatening. That means, is it endemic, or is it you can say epidemic, or it is pandemic? So you have to aware about these terms which are commonly used with the name of diseases, that this disease actually is spread in the form of an endemic disease or an epidemic disease or pandemic disease. Okay, as we have used the term pandemic with you can say the COVID-19 disease, but for tomato flu or Langley flu, you can say it is the term endemic is used there. Okay, not epidemic, not pandemic. Both the diseases are used with the name of endemic disease. Got it? So endemic disease. So life threatening. What is the level of life threatening? Okay. One thing again you should know, if it is bacterial. So the name of bacteria. So the name of bacteria that is causing this, that is causing the disease. You should remember this thing. Okay. Then it could be asked that which generation of antibiotic is useful in the treatment, okay. So you should remember, or you should find out these things. Treatment, sorry, it is treatment. Okay. Okay, you should remember this. If the disease is parasitic, you should remember the name of the parasite. If the disease is, you can say, fungal, so you should know that which kind of, yeah, the category of fungus, which category of fungus is causing such kind of disease. As you have heard about the black fungus disease, okay, black fungus disease, which is causing an eye disease there after the COVID-19 disease. Okay, it was very commonly in the news. So you should remember all these things when a disease is given in the news article, or a disease is in the current news. Okay, so such kind of thing you should be aware about this. It is the day of, you can say, Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. On the next Wednesday, I will be talking about the other current topics of science and technology, which will be coming in the next week. Okay, and we will discuss about all those topics, the basic things behind those topics, and what important question could be asked with those topics. Okay, so we will see all these things. Thank you very much for joining this session. Thank you.